How's everybody?
Shaking.
Okay, done YouTube. How's everybody doing? I don't know if you guys can hear. My exhaust does sound different. Can anybody guess what kind of exhaust I've got on? Leave them in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. What kind of exhaust I got. So today I want to talk to you guys about chain and sprocket. So what I want to talk to you guys about is I'm going to break out into two different parts. First one is this video, which will talk about what is a chain and a sprocket, why should you maintain it, and how to inspect the chain and sprocket to see if you need to change them to a newer one. And the second part will be the actual cleaning and lubing of the chain and the sprocket. So stay tuned for that one. So let's get started with this video. So most of the sports bikes do use chain and sprocket. The reason being because you lose the least amount of power on the rear wheel with the chain and sprocket, and the other two are belt and shaft. Belt you lose a little bit more, and shaft you lose a little bit more than belt. So those are three different ways, but sports bike you want most power at all times, and therefore you use a chain and sprocket. Alright, so why must you clean the chain and sprocket? You really need to clean it and maintain it. I mean, this is like the same thing as changing the oil on your motor. You know, you need to feed your motor with fresh oil after certain miles. It's the same thing with chain and the sprocket. You need to clean it, lube it, make sure it runs fine the way it's supposed to, and you have to do it pretty frequently, surprisingly. So if you're commuting, this might suck, but you have to clean and lube your sprocket every 300 to 500 miles ideally. I mean, I'm late on mine. I already have over 500 miles, so I gotta clean that out soon. But you want to clean it every 300 to 500 miles, and if you're commuting on your motorcycle, that's you'll probably put those miles on in 1 week. So you got to clean your bike, clean your chain and lube it every week. I understand that could be a hassle, but you're getting almost 100% of the power to the rear wheel. I think it's worth it. Then if you don't clean and maintain it, it's gonna go out on you. It's gonna rip on you, and you're gonna have a really bad day. If you don't want to have that, if you don't want to have one of those bad days, you make sure you clean and lube your chain. Or if you don't want to clean and lube your chain, you can wear a full riding suit every day. I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go down, so might as well be prepared for it. But now, how do you inspect a bad chain or a sprocket, right? So for a chain, it's you have to play with the chain a little bit to figure that out. So there are two different ways you can inspect the chain. One being, if you can move your chain like sideways like this, that means your O-rings are screwed up. You need to change that chain, and while you're at it, change the sprocket too. So, and the other way is if you can move the chain in and out. All right, so if you can move it closer to each other, that's also an indication of a bad sprocket. A bad chain. So replace that chain. Those are really the two ways you can of course, then looking at the chain as well. If you just look at the chain, it looks really rusty, and it doesn't look like it's going to last that long. Change that out, and trust me, it's not worth it. You better invest some money in buying a new chain than investing a whole lot of money in buying a new bike. So then, coming down to the sprocket, there are a couple of different things you can look at for inspecting a bad sprocket. Is if you look at a good sprocket, it will have a flat top at each tooth. That's what you want. You want to have flat surface at each tooth so the chain can grip on and sit in nicely. if that's not flat, if it's pointy, really sharp on top, that means it's time to change your sprocket out. Also, if your sprocket tooths are slanted, front or back, that also means you need to change your sprocket out. Now, why would that happen? Now, if I'm accelerating hard most of the time, accelerating, and not downshifting hard, you know, the sprocket will lean one way because it's always getting a high acceleration but not deceleration. And same thing, you know, if I'm not accelerating that hard all the time but I'm downshifting really hard all the time, it will lean the other way. And if I'm doing both, accelerating hard and downshifting hard, that's when you have the straight pointy top of the sprocket. So you want to change your sprocket out if you don't have a flat surface on the top of each tooth. And of course, if you have, you know, look at the sprocket, if it has cracks or you know, anything like that, replace that out. Ideally you want to replace the chain and the sprocket together. You don't want to have one new, one used. So try to replace them both together. If you think the chain is bad and the sprocket is still in decent condition, just change them both out. And if you think the chain is still good and the sprocket is in bad condition, just change them out. Change them out as a pair. Alright, so you know, that's all I have for you guys today to talk about. I just wanted to separate these two videos out in two parts. One of actually cleaning the bike, which will be coming up pretty soon, and the second one of just talking about why should you clean the sprocket and the chain, and how to inspect the sprocket and the chain. As always, you know, if you have any questions, do leave them in the comment section below and I will answer them as well. And also, if you do enjoyed this video and have found this video helpful, do hit that like button, and if you haven't already, do subscribe to my channel. A lot more helpful videos coming up, and that's it. I'll catch you guys in the next one.